Hey guys, it's Keith Keller in Melbourne, Australia. This is Magic Melburnians, and we have another honorary Magic Melburnian all the way from Auckland. And today I'm at this very wonderful conference, very wonderful workshop called The Big Five. We've talked about LinkedIn, we've talked about Facebook, we've talked about Twitter, we've talked about Instagram, we've talked about YouTube. Tell us a little bit about what you do in context, and then start with Facebook.
Well, I think where I'll start is by telling everybody, hi, I'm Juanita from the Online Business Academy, and yes, as Keith said, today we ran the Big Five social media workshop, and we specifically chose the Big Five channels that Australians tend to use a lot more. So obviously this would change depending on country, right? Yeah. And so let's start with Facebook, because you spoke about Armageddon or Facebook Zero as some people know it, and it's not as daunting. I think with Mark Zuckerberg putting out that Facebook is about creating content for friends and family and things like that, what they're really saying is your content needs to be good. And when you're talking from and shareable. Yeah. So if your content is good and shareable, and you're not doing clickbaiting, you're not doing, you're not creating content that takes people off to the wrong place, you're not trying to push sell and things like that. In other words, your content is quality and you're telling stories. Then you're at an advantage. Okay. And I think if you're using content, for example, like Facebook Lives, and again, it's all about sharing the stories. It's about telling your story in your business.
Well, there's a couple of really great quotes I got from today's session. I can't remember them now, but they're at hashtag Big5AU 2018. But you were talking a lot about the idea that really social media is about engagement. Yes. It's about sharing your journey. It's about really experiencing the community. That's right. You talked a lot about Facebook groups and how Facebook is really trying to bring back that friends and family vibe, aren't they?
Correct, yes. And I think one of the things that I did say, because I come across this all the time and I'm very passionate about it, is when I meet business owners and they say things like, oh, I can't post, I don't know what to post, I can't even think about what to post. Yeah. I say, you're doing it all wrong, because if you're thinking about social media as just posting, then forget about it. It's not about just posting. Facebook is about how do I connect and engage in such a way with people, people that I actually know, like, and trust already, and they're my audience, and they might be my clients, my customers, my fans, and those that aren't. So how do I use social media to really, have the conversations, tell them about what I'm doing, tell them about the products, hook them in a way that is engaging, that they can share content and that they
social media engagement was very much a buzzword today, wasn't it?
Very, very much. And community, it's very much about engaging, sharing, community. And you know that the videos that attract people, because videos attract people, the videos that attract are the videos where people are making it interesting, educating, showing something important.
So we talked a lot about Facebook groups.
Yes.
You've got an Australian group coming. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's going to be and how people can get to it?
Absolutely. So I will share the link with you, Keith, as soon as we've got it up and running. But we formed, I shouldn't say we. I am very fortunate to have a person that's joined the Online Business Academy that actually formed one of the most amazing networking groups in New Zealand and one of the most successful, Michelle. And she's part of my team now. And so we're going to take that and duplicate it out and form an Australian group.
Ah, brilliant.
And what it is all about community. It really helps small businesses, and it really helps them to engage, grow. The woman is a genius when it comes to how she's actually grown that group.
And so you'll be talking all about how to do that in that group.
Correct.
When it comes.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. So that's part one. Part one was about Facebook. Then I spoke about Twitter. And I'm quite a good speaker. I was quite animated. But I'd love to hear your take on Twitter, because you didn't originally like it. And now you do. And so what was it about it that switched your mind?
Yeah, so I would say obviously Twitter. I mean, I think I created my account around about the same time that you did in 2008. And I did my head in. I couldn't. And I think at the time there was people didn't quite get
Yeah,
it and
yeah,
understand,
yeah,
and everybody was
yeah.
kind of doing their own thing. And I moved off of the platform and came back onto it again quite actively 2 years ago. And I absolutely love it now. It's
Yeah,
one of my
yeah.
favorite channels. And the reason why is because Twitter has been quite phenomenal in helping me to find the influencers
Yeah,
online
yeah, yeah.
and to engage with them. And as you know, I run the social media conference in New Zealand, and I have actually found a few of my speakers via
Oh,
Twitter.
it's an extremely good way to connect in a very open network. isn't
Yeah.
it?
So, and for example, Vincenzo Landino, we got stuck in our conference 2016. We had a speaker that was from a large organization that was going to attend and had an issue with attending on the last minute. And so what I did is I was on Twitter and I was watching this conversation between Vincenzo Landino and JB. And I hooked up with him on Messenger and I said, hey, Vincenzo, can you help me out? I know that you can't be here live, but would you do something, on screen for us? And he went, I'd love to. And so we set up the screen for him, which was, it saved us from getting a speaker in from either New Zealand or Australia quickly.
Yeah.
And he just went, that's fine. He came on screen, he did a talk for us on screen, and he was absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
But that was a connection through Twitter.
Yep.
So it was
So what were
absolutely
your-
brilliant. I'd love to ask you, what were your takeaways today for Twitter?
Well, it's always interesting for me to chat to people in the real world
Yeah,
in Melbourne, in Australia, about Twitter, because we know, as you've just said, that Twitter is thumping it globally.
yeah,
But it's always interesting the aha moments that people, for instance, who don't understand hashtags.
yes,
But what I talked a lot about today was Twitter 280, the
Yes.
fact that there's so much more room to add colour to the conversation. It's not just more words for the sake of it, it's colour.
yes,
Yeah. So you can add more hashtags, you can include more people, you can add more verbiage. We talked a lot about Twitter video because Twitter is a really cool platform. But what
Yeah.
we then did after lunch is we talked about LinkedIn.
I think one of the things that I did say is be very careful with LinkedIn Live on how you're projecting your brand and your image.
It's not as fun and funky,
No.
it's got to be professional,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Well, so you were saying, for example, on Periscope, people will forgive you if you're dropping your camera and you kind of, the noises are around and, you're walking, because potentially that's how Periscope was set up. Initially, Periscope was set up to capture the moments.
Yep.
It was news to capture the moments. Where you think about LinkedIn video, it's about having the conversations. It's about educating. It's about people seeing you from your professional perspective.
Well, one thing I love about LinkedIn Live, or LinkedIn in general, is you can have up to 10 minutes of video on LinkedIn
Yes.
as an embedded idea, and up to 5 gigabytes of data, which means you can do 4K, which
Yeah.
means you can do really, really good quality
Good video,
videos.
yeah.
But what I'd love to talk to you about is, we talked a lot about this in the session, what is the value proposition of live versus recording? If people on LinkedIn are going to be a little bit judgmental and you're not being professional, why wouldn't you just take the time to pre-record? What's the value proposition of going live?
I think in terms of the platforms, the algorithms pick up the lives a lot
that's
quicker,
right. Yeah, they
and
feed,
so
yeah.
they feed them out, a lot. They get fed out to a bigger audience,
Yep,
so
okay.
people understand that you are there. But actually, the statistics show that people do come and watch the recorded video a lot more than what they would have actually watched the live
wow.
video.
Ah.
However, it does, in terms of the algorithms, it does kick you up in the feeds, and it does,
The live version.
the live versions.
Because we had a
get
couple
you
of
out
people
there.
here that got really nervous when we
Yeah.
mentioned video, and
And
it's got to be,
yeah.
it's a personal thing, isn't it?
Well, do you know what? I honestly believe that if you are in business, and I say this to you, and you are your business, so you are a coach or a mentor, or you are the wholesaler of your business, or you're helping, I would say get in front of video and get comfortable with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Start getting yourself out there, because here's the thing. People want to know who you are. People connect
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah.
People engage with people.
This video, for instance, is much more powerful than just a photo.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're getting to know you. These people know you already. This is your tribe, right? But they're getting to know me, and they're listening, and they're probably going, "Oh my God!"
You know the thing I'm really fascinated by we chatted. I don't believe this stat, but you even went further. 500 hours of video are downloaded on YouTube every minute. Now you said, "Oh, Keith, that's an old stat. It's
It is
even
an
more
old
now."
stat. Yeah, it is even more now. I don't have the stat on me, but we were talking that stat 5 years ago.
Whoa, 500 hours of video
Yeah.
in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why that's powerful is because if the internet is going to be completely saturated with video, we've got to get good.
Absolutely.
We've got to get it, and we've got to master it, and we've got to be comfortable in front of camera and get good at it, because otherwise we'll just get lost in the muddle, won't we?
Absolutely. You know, if you think of life and you think of your business as a theatre and you're on stage, right? You at the moment are the main actor in your video.
Of course. Yeah.
And the way that you keyword your videos, the way that you post them, the way that you use video, even in terms of YouTube, the keyword, we spoke about keywording on YouTube. But the important thing is, right now, it's still young and it's still fresh. Even though it's been going for a little bit now, people are still afraid of it.
Yeah.
So you have an opportunity to get your
Very few
voice
people do
out
it.
there.
I did a Twitter poll about this, and only 13% of people are doing videos at the moment. 87% of people are not doing videos.
video.
So huge opportunity,
Absolutely.
which leads us perfectly into section 4, which is YouTube. We talked a lot about YouTube.
We did.
I love YouTube. Tell me
I
about
love
what it
YouTube
is
too.
and why people need to really fully embrace it.
Well, again, so I think one of the things that we said right at the beginning of the session is you really need to think about your audience, and you really need to think about how those channels are going to help your audience, but also where your audience is hanging out. YouTube as an audience, it depends on how you want to use YouTube. So you have the one group of YouTube, which are the influencers, and they use YouTube to actually,
Like Logan Paul.
they use YouTube, and that's how they get their money.
Yeah.
They earn a lot of money on YouTube, you know. Then on the flip side of that, for example, like our company, we use YouTube more for education. So we'll put up educational videos. It may not be me on the video, it might just be some educational videos. It depends on how you want to use it. But some of the stuff we spoke about is make sure that you are keywording your YouTube videos.
Okay.
Now, here was a little trick. So the trick was, go and search for whatever the video is that you're uploading. So let's say, for example, you're uploading a video that says how to identify a Facebook scammer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Remember? So you might put keywords like Facebook, you might put keywords like Facebook scammer, but if you go and type that in the search bar and you start looking at the videos that are coming up in ranking, see what they've got in their title and pull some pieces of that out and do long tail keywording.
Yeah, you talked a lot about long tail
Yeah.
keywords. Let's expand on that.
Okay, so normal keywords, short keywords are just, one sentence keywords. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Long tail is actually a little bit of a sentence.
A phrase, yeah.
So a phrase. So it'd be Facebook scammers, Facebook scammers, delete, or delete Facebook scammers.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to go find out how people would search for it. But a good way of doing that is to see how people title their videos.
Because that actually adds another dimension to the searchability of searchability. Okay,
Yeah,
means that ultimately your video can be found much easier.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So make sure that you are keywording videos.
Okay,
And then the other thing we spoke about on YouTube is just a little tip, because a lot of people don't realize that you can download the transcript.
Yep.
I like to go a bit further because the transcripts aren't always 100% perfect.
Yeah.
But what you can do is download them, take the time out, read through it, put it into paragraphs, take that, put it onto your blog together with your video and create a vlog. So you now have content that you've repurposed.
Yeah, repurposing is a very key point. And that leads us perfectly onto the 5th platform, Instagram.
Wow.
We talked, and that was a big day. We've been here since 9 o'clock. And we talked at such great length about all the platforms, but let's wrap up with Instagram. It's the biggie. It's Facebook's little brother.
Well,
what's going on with it, and what do we need to know?
Well, as we saw with the statistics with Instagram is one of the fastest growing platforms, and they're saying by 2018 it will have 1 billion active users.
This year it'll have 1 billion. Okay.
So that is how quickly the platform is growing, and it is looking like this year it hits 1 billion users. That is a huge growth very quickly. It is one of the fastest growing platforms. At the moment, you've obviously got YouTube and Facebook, which are the two main or the biggest platforms.
Yeah.
But Instagram has certainly grown phenomenally quickly.
Yeah. And what were some of the tips? You talked about putting hashtags in the comments bar. Why would you do that?
Well, so I spoke about, if you talk about your hashtags, I spoke about how you could position them. So the first thing I said is Instagram give you the opportunity to have 30 hashtags.
30 hashtags, yeah.
30 hashtags. And some of the questions coming back was, well, where do we find these hashtags?
Yeah.
So you can go to sites like hashtagify.me and you can start looking for hashtags on hashtagify.me. And that's a whole kind of sort of session on its own, but it's pretty straightforward if you go to hashtagify.me. However, what I was suggesting is that you find unique hashtags that are for you or your product. And I would use those always in your comment, in your post, in the post itself, right? I'd always use those in the post, and maybe one or two depending on what you're actually putting in the post. Like for example, we would put something like hashtag YouTube tip, which is a generic kind of a hashtag, right? To start off the post, and then we put the post, and then we put the hashtags that were our hashtags. Then we post that, and then we will put in the first comment all the other hashtags. With the 5 dots, one below the other. Now the reason for the 5 dots, you go dot, 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 and then you put your hashtags. The reason for that is it kind of hides the hashtags when you're coming to the post initially. It's just the brackets.
It's neater.
Yeah, it leaves it neater. The other reason is because some people want to share their Instagram post to Facebook. And so when you're sharing it, only shares the post. It doesn't share comments, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it will pull only the hashtags that are in the post through to Facebook.
Again, it looks very much neater in Facebook if you want to share it that way.
Correct.
Yeah.
But Facebook do penalise you if you've got a heck of a lot of hashtags.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the minute you're pulling so
Facebook
many
Armageddon.
hashtags, you kind of want to go, oh, hold on. So that would be the reason why. Yes, absolutely, Keith.
Yeah.
That would be the reason why.
This you can see why. You know, this girl is a goddess. I mean, she doesn't even touch the ground. I've run out of superlatives for her. So we've chatted about the 5 different sections we talked about today. Do you want to quickly tell people how they can get to your academy and about your cool event in New Zealand?
Yeah, absolutely. So we run the social media conference in New Zealand, and it will be run again this year. This is our 5th year running. Anybody that's out there, whether you're a business owner or in social media, and you actually want to come and hang out with some cool social media people and really learn, because I'm exceptionally proud to have speakers on my stage that I vet and I make sure that they are worth their substance. And there are a lot of great speakers through Australia and New Zealand that come and stand on the stage, and occasionally we get internationals as well, coming from the USA and everything else. And Ireland, we obviously had Tweeting Goddess, fantastic. We had Vicky Fetch last year. We had Chocolate Johnny. Go to www.socialmediaconference.co.nz.
Okay.
And you can
socialmediaconference.co.nz.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Magic Melburnians. magicmelburnians.com if you want to follow the journey on YouTube. The way that I'm doing this is that I do snippets on Twitter and LinkedIn. That's an experiment I'm running. But I also link the full video back to the YouTube channel, which is now in its 3rd season. And the hashtag I use for this is Magic Melburnians. So follow this along. If you live in Melbourne, please connect with me, because I'd love to have a chat to you. And if you're in New Zealand, you have to check out Juanita.
Well, actually, I do quite a lot of travelling to Melbourne with workshops and things like that.
So you'll be here again?
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm back here in May again.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we might be doing a follow-up.
Guys, if you do want to come to some of these workshops, come.
Okay.
They're around.
Well, I'll keep you informed about the follow-up ones.
Yeah.